This section of the conference is a little different from the previous one. It's in a way more informal, and we conceived of this as being more of a roundtable type panel, simply because we don't have, like the other observatories, big research projects behind us. And we hope to have big research projects ahead of us, but we don't have any big projects behind us.
It's a good time to study parties. Sometimes it's been a bad time. This is a good time. One of the reasons it's a good time is reflected in the name of this observatory. It's not the Observatory of Political Parties. It's the Observatory on Political Parties and Representation. And the reason why you want to separate political parties and representation, at least to my mind, is because political parties aren't doing much representation anymore. And representation is moving away from political parties and moving possibly in many cases to other agencies, to other voices and to other institutions. So political parties in some cases, in many cases I would argue, are being stripped of many of their representative functions. Which means that parties are changing fundamentally. And it's important to understand how parties are changing.
There's a fair bit of work already being done at the work on part of the European Union level. The problem, and this is what was sort of intimated in the introductory remarks to this session, is that we're dealing with, if we call it a federal political system, that like many political systems that are of a federal nature, you have party structures that tend to be more confederal. That you're dealing with a situation where the power that is important is very much still at the nation-state level rather than at the European Union level. And therefore there's a kind of tension in the sort of research that has to be done, I would have thought, for this observatory. On the one hand, as Luciano said, you are going to want to gather data at the European Union level, definitely. On the other hand, to do this properly, you're also going to need to gather data at the national level. You can't ignore that. So that's the sort of first starting point, if you like. And then the second starting point, that's my microphone going off, excuse me. I get used to technology. The second sort of starting point is the question about what we are dealing with in terms of political parties. We're dealing with institutions that are, on the one hand, the most public of institutions, and on the other hand, the most private of institutions. And that's the real difficulty for those of us who are interested in looking at these institutions.
From the perspective of the post-communist states looking at a research agenda, these were the areas that I would look at. I think we need to spend more time and effort looking on how parties work, basic party organisation, the nature of the links between the party and the state, and I think that you know, in some cases there's no way around it. Primary data is needed, but a possible shortcut is working with kind of country-level collaborators. In terms of looking at the impact of Euro parties, I think that what you need here is drilled down work trying to trace the processes of where you do find these direct impacts and try and trace them back to a European cause, and also looking at this kind of bilateral transnational party.
How to reshape organization in a low-trust society, in a society in which you have a multiple identity. You don't belong to a political party for your life. You choose time by time. You spend more time on the web than in a political circle with an headquarters, with a physical headquarters. So how you can merge, new presence on the virtual space and to be, like we were used to do, grassroots based in your society.